welcome back to Keto Homestead with Jess. Today I was cleaning out my pantry, trying to get ready for gardening season. Canning season will be ramping up and it will be upon us before we even know it. So I was cleaning out the pantry, reorganizing, and and I found a jar of mustard that I need to can up. So I figured I'd do a quick tutorial for new beginners. Hopefully this will get you motivated and educated and help you on your canning journey. This is a quick, simple canning recipe. It'll take about 20 minutes to actually can. If you get everything ready beforehand, it won't take long at all. So there is some items that I do like to purchase in bulk, like this mustard. This mustard came from GFS, or Gordon Food Supply. It's a bulk restaurant chain supply store, but the public is allowed to shop there. So when I get the opportunity, I will stock up on things like mustard, and I will go ahead and can those in individual jars. So I'm opening a little jar at a time. I have jelly jars here. They're a little bit smaller than pint jars. I have my lids, my rings, a debubbler, a canning funnel, and a flour sack cloth. You can use any type of cloth that you want that's clean. Now, in this video, you don't need a pressure canner. You don't even need a canner at that. This is a canner, but you could just use a regular pot. We are water bath canning this mustard. So let's get started. And before we start, you just want to take a glance at your jars. Make sure there's no nicks though around the rims. Make sure you have no cracks in there. Make sure they're clean. That one needs washed again. And you'll just do that through all your jars. I'm going to go ahead and take my flour sack cloth and place it in my pot. And the reason I do this is because it gives me more room to get more jars in. If I was to use a rack, most of the racks are specifically made for pint jars, and the little jelly jars don't sit in there properly. And this just allows me to get a lot more jars into my pot. So we're just going to take our funnel. Like I said, super simple, easy, quick recipe. We're going to start adding our mustard in here. And you want to add it just below the first rim. And that one just got a little too much, so this one got just a little too much, so I'm going to take some out and just toss it into the other jar. And we'll continue filling. This is also an easy way to stock your pantry if you don't grow your own mustard and make your own mustard. Not all of us can do that, but surely you can go to the store and get a jar of mustard and break it down like this, and then this typically will last me a year. I won't have to buy mustard for a really long time. And also it's shelf stable and saves space. So I'm going to go ahead and continue jarring this up, and I'll bring you back when I am finished. Alright, so I've got all my jars filled. So the next thing we want to do is we want to debubble our mustard. Now also a quick tip, I want to remind you, you don't want to put any type of metal or stainless steel or anything like that into your jars, you want to use either wood or plastic to debubble. You don't want to take the chance of cracking a jar or scraping it. And that is why we use plastic or wood. I really hope this inspires some of you out there to start canning. It's really simple and easy to do. I know it can be intimidating at first, but this is super simple. You're not pressure canning, you're just water bathing. So we'll just finish up debubbling here. Alright, as soon as we're done with that step, we're going to grab a clean paper towel. Oh, I forgot to get my vinegar out. I use a bowl. Some white vinegar. You don't need much. Now a couple of them got really messy because I had to scoop some out. So I'm going to put those to the side for a minute. Okay, and then I'm going to dip my paper towel in the vinegar and just run it around the ring. Any mustard whatsoever on the rim of this jar, it will not seal. So you want to make sure it's clean. Every once in a while, flip that paper towel over and use a different corner. We'll keep doing that until we get all the jars. And I just leave the messy ones for last, so I don't have such a huge mess trying to clean these rims. Alright, now here comes the messy one. See all that mustard on that rim? We want to get all of that off. Alright, next one. These two weren't too bad. They had a little bit of mustard on the rim, not too bad. Now these ones here, they're pretty messy, and that's why I save them until last. We'll make sure all that mustard's off there, not on you. We'll grab another clean one, dip it in some vinegar again, and just double check, double make sure, because you don't want to waste all your hard work. Flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and, now I'm not going to dip it yet. I'm going to go ahead and get all this mustard off. I made a mess here. Once you get that off, flip your paper towel around and get that rim really good and clean. Alright. Oh, I missed a spot. See? Always double check. Alright. I forgot to mention, this is a gallon jug of mustard, and I got 17 jelly jars out of that. So that's not bad at all. Clean up my mess here. Get all this out of the way. If you clean as you go, as I always say, it makes life a lot easier. Alright, so the next step is let's put our lids and rings on. So in this process, I make sure my lids and rings are really clean. I don't heat them up. That's just my personal choice. If you want to heat them, you can. I do not see a reason to take that extra step, as long as your rings and lids are clean. Make sure I don't have mustard on my finger. are just putting on the rings fingertip tight. If you put them on too tight, you'll never get them off. But it does not take much. Again, this is just a super simple, quick recipe. Anybody can do it. I have faith in you. And I am rooting you on. And one more. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and get this into my pot, so I'm going to bring it over to the stove. Be over at the stove. Now remember, we're starting out with cold jars, cold condiment, and cold water. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my pot on high. I've got my flour sack cloth in here, and I am going to just start putting my jars in. You want them to be as snug as you can. Get it in there. Make sure none of the jars are touching the bottom of your pot. Maybe we can squeeze another one in there. Yep, there we go. Alright, perfect. Alright, once you get them in there the way you want them, you want to make sure the water is just above the tops. So we're going to add some more water in here. Make sure they're covered. And again, we have the stove on high. I'm going to put my lid on. Once this comes up to a boil, I am going to take my phone and I'm going to time it for 20 minutes. I'm looking for a hard boil. Once it comes to that boil, I'm going to turn the stove down a little bit and I'm going to set that timer 20 minutes. And then we'll be done. And I will bring you back as I'm pulling the jars out of my pot. So my canner has came to a hard boil. Hopefully you can hear that. I am going to go ahead and set my timer for 20 minutes and start that. I'm going to turn this down just a tad bit and we'll let that go for 20 minutes and I'll bring you back when the canner's done. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. It's time to turn the stove off and take my jars out. Alright, looks beautiful. Again, I hope this inspires you. I hope it encourages you and gives you confidence to try to can at home. This is a super simple one to start with, and the more sustainable you can become, the better off you will be. So I want to thank you for visiting me here at Keto Homestead with Jess. If you have any questions or concerns, please give me an email. My email is in my About page. Feel free to email me with any questions or concerns. I hope you all Have a happy, healthy, and safe evening. And I will see you soon.
It's sunnier than most days. You'll never see the sky if you keep looking down. And if you take the wrong way, then maybe you should stay instead of turning around. So, but you keep on going. I know that you're in the open, hoping that you'll be okay. Don't stay looking out the window. And how late do you plan on going? Nowhere. Afraid of all the things you don't know. There's so many reasons you should care. Don't stay looking out the window. And how late do you plan on going? Nowhere. Afraid of all the things you don't know. There's so many reasons you should care. The sun is setting down soon. You'll never see the stars when you're holding your hand. You can find beauty in the night too, but it's harder to see when you're stuck in a dream. So, but you keep on going. I know that you're in the open, hoping that you'll be okay. Don't stay looking out the window. And how late do you plan on going? Nowhere. Afraid of all the things you don't know. There's so many reasons you should care. Don't stay looking out the window. And how late do you plan on going? Nowhere. Afraid of all the things you don't know. There's so many reasons you should